Hey guys, welcome. It's Rufi Star here, and today I'm going to review the latest and the final episode of My Hero Academia Season 4 titled His Start. Now, before we begin the review, please do subscribe and hit the all notification bell icon. It does really help me to move forward. Also, do leave a like and comment down below your thoughts on this episode. I would really appreciate to know your take on the new episode of My Hero Academia. The first thing I want to say is that this episode was amazing and definitely top 2 of this season for me. It is not just because of the fight or how the fight was executed. It was more about the brilliance resolve that Endeavor showcased. The undying spirit of the unsung hero Endeavor's struggle to reach and step into the number 1 hero's rank with very clear vision for real. The episode just showcased that Endeavor has really grown. It shows his dynamic about how rightfully he wants to change himself and how he wants to make a new start and show the people around him that do not fear because he is here to protect them. I really didn't care about Endeavor before this season or any of the season. For me, he just seemed to be an arrogant hero who just lives for his glorification and his pride, casting aside his family and not caring about how the people around him really feel. He constantly harmed his family in the blindness of following absolute strength to become the strongest than anyone. With the pain of knowing that he couldn't achieve the goal by himself, he traumatized his wife and his children. But after going through some very small yet important scenes, this season about Endeavor is shaping as a character. I was really intrigued about how will his character flow from now onwards. What change will we really see in him? And answering to my question, the last episode just hit the nail in the coffin. It just exceeded my opinion about Endeavor and just simply left me cheering for him at the end. The new emergence fighting will he showed to the people around him was a real treat to watch. Now, let us talk about the actual things transpired in the episode. In the beginning, we see Endeavor's wife, Rei Todoroki, being visited by her 2 elder children, her daughter Fuyumi and her son Natsu, who is a college student. She seems to be doing very well nowadays. She also very happily talks about Soto writing her letters frequently. Suddenly, Natsu talks about Endeavor being the number 1 hero, and he, with disappointment on his face, adds on to say that how he has casted aside his family. But rather, his mother highlights how Endeavor has changed from his past self by saying that he brought her roses and frequently visited her to counter Natsu's perspective about his father. Still, she seems to be not ready to face Endeavor. It kind of makes sense as the traumatization that she got is not something that can wear off so easily. This event showcased one more step to Endeavor's growth and how he is forgetting his past. The before events of him starting to change was highlighted in previous episodes, like him being very keen in knowing the meaning behind the symbol of peace. The second instant was when he said Soto that he's going to be someone that his children can be proud of being the number 1 hero. And the last event to build up to the last episode was his plain and simple comment at the hero's billboard announcement, him saying, "Just watch me." These elements about Endeavor this season definitely highlighted the dynamic of his character growth. Now, let's come to the epic fight between the high-end Nomu and Endeavor. We see Endeavor launching his move named Flash Fire Fist Hell Spider. This high-end Nomu seems to be really strong as well as smart. He even can talk. Clearly, as Endeavor mentions, he is quite different from the Nomu that they had encountered before. The next scene we see Endeavor launching the Hell Spider attack towards the high-end Nomu, which he easily dodges and further straightly goes towards Endeavor to attack him, pushing and overpowering him in the process. On this note, I want to add something about the Nomu. It has to be the second strongest out of all we have encountered in the anime. First being the Nomu to fight All Might, who I think could absorb the attacks of his opponent. Now, to also mention another thing, I've yet to catch up to the manga, so I'm unaware of the situations that are taking place right now. So I'm only taking anime into consideration. Moving forward, we see Hawks in little action too. as he is busy saving the people trapped inside the affected building. He seems to be exceptionally skilled and knows how to use his abilities through and through perfectly, as also seen in the previous episode. Now coming back to Endeavor. He launches another Hell Spider attack towards the gnome. Talking about Hell Spider, this attack seems to utilize his fires as very long strings, which are several in numbers, and creates like a web similar as a spider creates, which also suggests in its name. The attack incinerates the enemy by trapping inside its net. Endeavor's attack works as he was able to incinerate its body mostly, but it only lasts for a very short period of time as the Nomu is able to instantly regenerate. Moving on, the successful attack launched by Endeavor triggers the Nomu as he proceeds to use one of his abilities to create multiple Nomus to attack the citizens from his body. Seeing this, Endeavor is definitely worried. He realizes that this Nomu has thinking capacity and he needs to deal with it as soon as possible. Endeavor then proceeds to use what seems to be his ultimate move to completely make the Nomu disappear with his fire. The ultimate move he uses is called Prominence Burn. This attack seems to work when Endeavor raises the temperature of his fire along with the amount of fire he unleashes. He then concentrates his fire to a point and launches his attack like a beam. In this case, Fire Beam, which absolutely incinerates anyone who gets hit by it. I am not going to lie, seeing this attack made me really excited. It showed that Endeavor is not to be underestimated and that he deserves to be the #1 hero after all this time. The attack seems to completely roast away the Nomu's body, and at one point it felt like it was dead. But to our surprise, because of the Nomu's thinking capabilities, it manages to protect its head from which it can instantly regenerate itself. Unable to counter in time, Endeavor gets a direct deadly attack from the Nomu, resulting in severe injuries including his left eye, which makes him lose his footing completely. Moving to the next scene, we see Endeavor still trying his best shots to defeat the Nomu. He desperately attacks it, but because of his injuries, it's not quite enough and the Nomu comes on top of him every time. This particular moment shatters the hopes of the people around him, as if they never believed in Endeavor. They're still trying to clinch onto the shadows of All Might, the ultimate symbol of peace, who no more can maintain the same status and peace. They are suddenly rent through the melancholy of losing hope and the unbreakable backbone that supported them for so long. We also see a little scene with Todoroki getting worried over Endeavor's action. To me, in those moments, I really felt like he was cheering Endeavor on from inside, which we saw some glimpses of. Moving to the other side, the affected city. There we see a small kid shouting at the people, the same kid who was said to be Endeavor's fan in the previous episode. He strongly rings his beliefs of Endeavor towards the people in the chaos and makes them realize that stop thinking about something who cannot stand back anymore. Instead of singing songs of despair, appreciate the one who's there and still fighting. Cheer and support the result of the one who is still fighting for us. This particular scene just hit me the most hard. Having the realization of what makes a true hero yet again just made me recall the past epic moments in the series. Still, I have to say, with Endeavor, it hit me somewhat little differently. Maybe it felt so because of how Endeavor was shown previously, and now how he actually is transpiring his new truly proud self. His road to victory backed with his stubborn will, which will never wither. His pure dedication of trying to surpass All Might was and is unmatched. He trying to surpass himself is truly a delight to witness. Anyways, we then move to Endeavor, making his last stand. This time, not backing off a single step and having a full intention to kill the gnome. He immerses himself so much in this thought of defeating it that he, even though is unable to move, charges towards the Nomu straightly despite his injuries. He then gets attacked in the process of charging towards him, but is completely unfazed from the actual damages he takes. Rather, he thanks the Nomu that because of these pains he is experiencing, he is able to maintain his consciousness more and more. Adding to his increasing determination he constantly reminds himself to raise up the heat, fix his eyes that is getting dimmer to see his chance of victory. He is breaking his absolute limits, giving his everything just for this moment. This, Hawks is also very much captivated by Endeavor's winning unbreakable spirit. He decides on to aid Endeavor so that he can finish the Nomu off without fatal consequences, as he himself hasn't that much of attack potency. He wants Endeavor to lead the rest heroes and be the new pillar of shining hope for the existing as well as the upcoming generation. As brilliant as Hawks is, he succeeds in providing the necessary help required. Unfortunately, the heat produced by Endeavor is not enough to overpower the Nomu. But to put the end of this showdown, Endeavor proceeds to fly away higher with the Nomu with a plan in mind to incinerate it completely this time, not leaving a trace behind, as he would also have to not worry about other casualties down below. The next thing we see is truly epic. Endeavor delivers this amazing, famous hero's line, "Go plus Ultra," before finishing off the Nomu. He then proceeds to use Prominence Burn to finally put the Nomu to rest. Man, that was really great scene to watch through. Just seeing the last scene made me really cheer for Endeavor from the bottom of my heart. Honestly, the words are not even enough to explain this feeling. The next scene we see is also equally epic. The scene of Endeavor standing heroic after defeating the Nomu. Again, it just felt amazing with a sigh of relief also. Absolutely one of the best, if not the best moment of this season. Really, I have to give props to Horikishi and anime team for giving us this epic showdown for the finale of this season. Now, as per my conclusion, I want to highlight some things about Endeavor in a very short way. He, even though failed on his attempt to surpass All Might throughout his life, succeeded in surpassing himself, his past. Rather, he conquered his past and left it all behind. He achieved something very precious which without him changing wouldn't have been achievable. In my opinion, after his fight with the high-end Nomu, he truly understood what it's like to be the new face from the hero's world. He realized what importance and expectation it holds to be the new pillar that becomes the establishment of the reformed peace. So this was my review and a little analysis of episode 25 of My Hero Academia Season 4, the finale episode. I truly enjoyed in both watching the episode and making this video, so I am hopeful you guys will also like it. If you want to see more anime and manga related content, please stay tuned. Thank you.